She disappeared for 5 years and came back with his name tattooed on her arm. When Daniel woke up that morning, he didn't expect the past to knock on his door. He didn't expect her. 5 years. 5 long years since Lily disappeared without a word. No calls, no note, no explanation. She was just gone. And now there she was, standing on his porch, looking the same, yet completely different. He froze in the doorway. Lily? She smiled softly, her eyes wet with tears. Hey, Danny. For a second, he couldn't breathe. He had imagined this moment 1,000 times. What he'd say if he ever saw her again. Anger, relief, maybe even hate. But standing there, all he felt was confusion. Because on her arm, just below the sleeve of her worn jacket, was a tattoo. His name. Daniel. He stared at it, lost for words. Her voice trembled. Can I come in? He stepped aside silently, his mind spinning. She walked in like someone visiting a museum, slow, careful, tracing her fingers over the furniture like each piece carried a ghost. The same couch, the same photographs on the wall, the same home she'd left behind without goodbye. Daniel finally spoke. Where the hell have you been? Lily looked down. It's a long story. He laughed, sharp and bitter. 5 years, Lily? I think I've got time. They sat down across from each other, the same positions they'd always taken during their late-night talks, back when everything made sense. He noticed her hands were shaking. He wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but one slipped out first. Why my name? She looked up, her eyes glassy. Because you're the reason I came back. It all started 5 years ago, the night before her 25th birthday. They'd been fighting about stupid things. Daniel was focused on work. She felt ignored. He said things he didn't mean. She stormed out. That was the last time he saw her. The police found her car 2 towns over, engine running, door open, purse on the seat. But Lily was gone. For years, Daniel blamed himself. He couldn't move on. Every lead turned into a dead end. He stopped celebrating birthdays, stopped dating, stopped living. Until now. Lily took a shaky breath. Do you remember that trip we talked about taking? To Redwood? He frowned. Yeah, the one we never took. She nodded. I went there that night. I just needed to breathe. I didn't plan to disappear. She looked away, voice breaking. But when I stopped for gas, everything changed. She told him about the man at the station, how he offered help when her car wouldn't start, how she woke up hours later in a strange house with no windows and no phone. For months, she was trapped, hidden in plain sight. The man kept her isolated, controlling everything. She learned not to fight, just to survive. When she finally escaped, she was hundreds of miles away. No ID, no money, and no memory of where she'd been. She lived in shelters, took small jobs under fake names. She'd seen posters, news articles, his name. But she couldn't come back. Not yet. She wasn't ready for the world to know what happened. Daniel's throat tightened. Why didn't you at least call? You could have... I tried, she whispered. I wrote letters, burned them before mailing. I thought you hated me. He blinked hard, his jaw trembling. Lily, I looked for you every day. She smiled sadly. I know. That's when she rolled up her sleeve. The tattoo looked old, faded slightly, healed years ago. She got it the day I escaped, she said. I didn't have a phone or your address. But I had your name. It reminded me of who I was before he took me. Daniel felt his chest cave in. Lily. She reached out, tears streaming. You saved me, Danny, even when you didn't know it. The next hours blurred into soft voices and long silences. She told him about therapy, about the years she spent piecing herself back together. He told her about the emptiness she left, how every time his phone buzzed, he hoped it was her. And then, as the sun set behind them, he asked quietly, "Why now? Why come back after all this time?" Lily smiled faintly. "Because I finally can. Because I'm not scared anymore." The days that followed felt surreal. Neighbors whispered, old friends called in shock. The story spread. The girl who vanished for 5 years has returned. Daniel didn't care. He just wanted her to heal. Some nights she still woke up crying. Other nights she'd stand on the porch, looking at the sky like she was waiting for the world to forgive her. And slowly she started painting again, the way she used to. Bright colors, hopeful shapes. Daniel framed the first one she finished and hung it in the living room. At the bottom corner, she'd signed her name beside his, like she always did back then. One evening, he found her sitting outside, sketching quietly. She looked up, smiling softly. "Do you think people can really start over?" He nodded. "If anyone can, it's you." She paused, then whispered, "Then maybe we can too." Daniel's heart stuttered. "Lily," she reached for his hand. "Not now, but someday, when it doesn't hurt to remember." He squeezed her hand gently. "I'll wait." Months passed. The world moved on, but Daniel didn't. Because every morning when he made coffee, she was there, humming softly, tracing her fingers over the tattoo that carried his name. And every time he saw it, it didn't remind him of loss anymore. It reminded him of hope, of survival, of love that endured even through silence, even through pain, even through 5 years of missing pieces. She disappeared for 5 years, but when she came back, she didn't just return. She carried proof that even in her darkest moments, his name was the light that led her home.